Hey guys, Wo-Chien here, and as many of you know, power creep is the single biggest problem in competitive singles Pokemon. Each coming generation, it seems like the Pokemon introduced get stronger and stronger, leaving older, lesser Pokemon to languish in the background, never to see the competitive light again. Because of this, I decided to make this series in which I take some forgotten and unfortunately bad Pokemon that you all suggest to me in the comments. Hint, please suggest some in the comments, please, I appreciate it. And bring them up to speed so they can once again occupy a competitive niche. This series is therefore aptly called Fixing Your Favorites. Yes guys, it's the return of Fixing Your Favorites. I think it's been about a year since our last episode, so again, if you guys are hyped, be sure to drop a like on the video. Please let me know Pokemon that you want to see down in the comments below. I kind of picked them myself this time since the series come back for the first time, but I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any notes for me as well on how to make this series better, please let me know in the comments below. That being said, let's jump into it. With the long-awaited return of Fixing Your Favorites, I figured it would be fun to do an episode solely focused on legendary Pokemon. These beasts are supposed to be the living embodiments of power, and their power is often documented in legends. However, they don't all display that power in the competitive scene. The 4 Pokemon we'll focus on today are legendary Pokemon, where we can hopefully help them live up to their legendary stature and lore. First up is Hoopa. No, not big scary Hoopa Unbound, but instead Hoopa Confined. This little guy is constantly getting outshined by its other form, which I understand is intentional. However, I'd love to see Hoopa Confined find its own competitive niche and become at least usable. Let's start off with a tweak to its base stats. Now, I won't be buffing the stats of any of these legendaries or adding anything to their BST. Instead, I'll just be reallocating their stats. Basically removing some BST in one area and moving it to another. For Hoopa in particular, we'll be giving it some speed. I cannot stand how smaller Hoopa Confined is so slow, and slower than Hoopa Unbound at that. So to achieve a considerable speed buff, we will be taking away 20 attack, and adding that to its speed. This puts Hoopa Confined at a base 90 speed tier, which is much better for a breaker like itself. It does take away its ability to run mixed variants very well, but I think the speed buff is more than worth it. Next, we'll take a look at its ability. Magician makes a ton of thematic sense, and isn't bad necessarily. I think it's pretty good on Focus-Lead variants. However, it's not good. We've gotten to the point with power creep where it's not enough to simply not have a bad ability. You need to have a good one. For that reason, and sticking with the Magician theme, I decided to give Hoopa Magic Guard as its new ability. The new ability stays on theme, and is also absolutely incredible. Avoiding passive damage from hazards, poison, and burn is obviously incredible. However, the main benefit is actually the new ability to run Life Orb drawback free. Hoopa would still often run Life Orb before, making it a ridiculously strong wall breaker, but the passive damage it took every turn really didn't do it any favors with how frail it is. It also put it in the range of priority moves even faster. With Magic Guard, we no longer have to take the passive damage from Life Orb, only getting the benefits from the item. It also gives it the potential to run Focus Sash sets much more efficiently. Alongside this new ability buff, we'll be giving Hoopa 2 new moves to its toolkit. Dazzling Gleam to hit dark types a bit more reliably than Focus Blast, and it makes sense thematically with the whole Magician thing. And Agility to allow it to find those endgame sweeping positions if it could be positioned. This gives it a form of speed control, replacing the Trick Room variants it would try and run when it was slower. So in recap, new cool Hoopa Confined has 20 more speed, Magic Guard is a huge ability upgrade, and gained access to Dazzling Gleam and Agility. These buffs make it a much more effective glass cannon, and I really hope it would get some real usage. Next up, we take a look at a Gen 9 legendary, Wo-Chien. Considering how broken the other 3 Pokemon in the Quartet of Ruin are, Wo-Chien is in a really sad spot. It leans on the more defensive style of play, much like Tinglu. However, unfortunately, unlike Tinglu, its typing is terrible defensively. It also doesn't have the hazards or phasing capabilities that Tinglu has. We're really going to need to work some magic to make this guy viable. First up is a small tweak to its stats. To buff up its bulk a bit, we'll be taking 10 of Wo-Chien's attack away and be adding it to its HP. I thought about removing some speed instead, but I actually think base 70 speed helps it a ton as a stall breaker with Taunt and Ruination. Now it's time for Move Pool buff. Our Snail Fan really lacks some of the utility moves that make or break defensive grass types. A huge addition to its move pool we'll be giving it is Synthesis. As of right now, it only has Leech Seed as means of recovery, so the reliable Synthesis will be super nice in some matchups. Next addition will be Sleep Powder. I'm not crazy enough to give it Spore. It's a little over the top and doesn't make much sense to me thematically. However, Sleep Powder does, as Wo-Chien already has all of the other Powder status moves. Plus, grasses typically get access to it. Being able to threaten teams with arguably the most broken status condition in the game is an incredible tool. Lastly, we'll be adding Toxic to its move pool. I know Pokemon has been much more conservative with their distribution of Toxic lately, really limiting it to either poison types or Pokemon whose animal/plant inspirations have something to do with poisons and toxins. However, I feel like this works with Wo-Chien, as it's a snailish slug, many of which can be poisonous. Look at Pokemon like Gastrodon or Goodra, both non-poison, slug or snail-like Pokemon with access to Toxic this generation. Obviously the typing is always going to hold Wo-Chien down a bit, but these move pool additions and the slight HP buff should let it play that Stall Breaker role much more efficiently. Let's stick around the Paldea region for this next legendary and take a look at Munkidori. Or would that be the Kitakami region? Regardless of which region, Munkidori is disappointing to say the least. Offensively, it seems really solid on paper. Its stabs plus Focus Blast and Shadow Ball hit just about everything super hard. It's also decently fast, but it just feels terrible to use. I attribute this to 3 main reasons. Number 1 is its terrible hidden ability. Frisk is cool, but much better on Pokemon with bulk and defensive application. The other 2 Pokemon in its trio have hidden abilities that accent their offensives, so we'll be trying to give it a better ability to enhance its offensive capabilities. Number 2, it really struggles with Steel types and to a lesser extent Dark types. The unreliability of Focus Blast as the option to hit Steel and Dark types is really felt with Munkidori. It's too frail to be able to afford misses, and the huge gamble of clicking Focus Miss. Number 3 is its speed tier. Monkey is fast, but just not fast enough. 106 is fast, but this Power Crab generation is full of fast and scary offense, so 106 does not often get the job done. First up, let's look at its new ability. I decided to give Munkidori the ability Stakeout, which would double the damage Munkidori did to Pokemon upon switch-in. I think this would really help accent the pretty strong arsenal Munkidori has offensively. Psychic and Sludge Wave hit most Pokemon neutrally outside of Steels and Darks, which we have coverage for those. If we catch that Steel type upon switch-in with either the high-risk Focus Blast or the move we'll be giving it soon, it's going to do a ton of damage, if not outright killing the switch-in. Second, we're going to make Monkey feel a little less risky to use into those Steel and Dark types. Focus Blast is still solid and can definitely be used, but I think adding Aura Sphere to its move pool will help the legendary feel more consistent and reliable as a wall breaker. At bare minimum, it gives the trainers the option to play more fast and loose with Focus Blast, or more conservative and safe with Aura Sphere. This also makes sense thematically, as a ton of Psychic types have access to Aura Sphere. Lastly, we'll redistribute Monkey's stats a bit. I want to give it a bit more speed, letting it specialize further as a strong and fast wall breaker or glass cannon. To do this, we'll be taking 10 BST away from its often unused attack and adding that to its speed. I think this is honestly the most important buff we can give Munkidori. Having a speed tier of 116 is game changing, allowing Monkey to outspeed the ever-present base 110 and 115 offensive Pokemon that could revenge it in the past. These 3 buffs should make Munkidori much better, and honestly, the best Pokemon in its legendary trio. One more legendary to cover today, and to do that, we'll head down to the Alola region. Here we'll take a look at the ugly duckling of the Tapu quartet, Tapu Bulu. All of its Tapu family have consistently been the metagame staples when they're in the game, outside of Bulu that is. It has always been by far the worst of the quartet, and hopefully today we can bring it closer to its brethren. Stat-wise, I honestly think Tapu Bulu is perfect. That tanky, strong physical attacker fits it perfectly. I also don't want to touch its ability at all, as the Tapu's entire identities revolve around their terrain setting surge abilities. Really? All we need to do is tune up Bulu's move pool. In fact, Bulu is such an easy fix, I deliberately left it for the end of the video. It's just too easy and a little bit of a boring fix. We only need to add 2 moves to its move pool, and it'll be great. Grassy Glide and Play Rough. Grassy Glide is the biggest one. You don't know how angry it makes me that Rillaboom got the Grassy Surge plus Grassy Glide combo, but a legendary Pokemon that was originally the only Pokemon with the ability didn't. It's like they want Bulu to be bad. Giving Bulu this buff is huge, letting it circumvent its mediocre speed stat and giving it strong stat priority off of its base 130 attack. Play Rough is an addition to make Bulu a real Fairy type. You have no idea how frustrating it is to have your Fairy type consistently hard-walled by dragons. Now, it has a real option to hit dragons and use its other stab. Between the stabs, Grassy Glide for priority, and the coverage options of Close Combat and High Horsepower to hit resist, Bulu becomes even more potent offensively. Once it gets up a Swords Dance, there's a ton of builds that will just crumble to its newfound power. And that is going to be episode 13 of fixing your favorites. Again, I know it's been a while. I hope I'm not too rusty. I hope we came up with some cool buffs today. I know the Bulu one is a little lackluster, but I feel like I had to at least get that off my chest. So we only need 2 things for that guy to be good. I think the other ones were definitely very interesting though, so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let me know some Pokemon you would like to see. They do not have to be legendaries. We did a legendary episode today because I thought it'd be fun, you know, coming back to it. But yeah, it does not have to be a legend at all. It could be any Pokemon that you think might not be great. Let me know, and maybe we'll come up with some ideas for the next episode. Again, if you enjoyed, drop a like. If you're new here, drop a sub, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.